Have you ever wondered what really goes into creating a relationship that is filled with trust, intimacy, and love? We did. So we started having conversations that took us deeper into our own relationship. Then we decided to record those vulnerable conversations to share with others. Now we are excited to have you join us as we bring those conversations to you weekly.
I'm Sonia, a boudoir photographer and relationship coach who believes that everybody is worthy to love themselves and be loved in their relationship.
I'm Carolyn, a transformational life coach on a mission to support others to let go of trauma, beliefs, and negative body image so that they can become the amazing humans they were born to be.
Are you ready to connect more deeply, to create deeper intimacy, and get truly curious about what is possible in your relationship? If so, let's get started now.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sonia and Carolyn.
Yeah, we also deal with identity.
That's funny. So anyways, we have been doing a little series on bridging the distance between you and your person. So if you've been following us for the last couple of weeks, then you know that we've talked about the importance of being honest in your communication with your person, because honesty gives all of the information that they need in order to know where you're coming from. And you get all of the information from them to know where they're coming from. So that was the first episode. The second episode that we did was on talking about your fears, because what happens is we get so fearful about what we think the other person is gonna feel, think, or react to. It's like, I'm needy, or oh, it's too much, all of these things. It's mosquito season, and so I've got a bite on my, I don't know, my foot is driving me nuts. Anyways, the next one that we did was on listening and the importance of really listening. And Sonia made such a good point during that one about when we're listening to our partner, we need to put ourselves in their shoes as well. So we need to listen from both sides of the conversation. The other thing that was important about listening is listening from the present perspective, not from past situations. And so all of these things that we've been talking about are leading us up to asking this question. So now that we are seriously in the trenches of bridging the gap between your communication, bridging the gap of your trust, bridging the gap of your intimacy, bridging the gap in any area where your relationship needs to have that bridge built. Now I want you to think about this question. And the question is, what is it that you need? What is it that you need right now to move forward? You have to ask the question, and you have to be ready to hear the response. So we've talked about we're being honest about what it is that we want. We're setting our fears aside, and we're just asking the question, what it is that you need right now to move forward. And then you're listening. You're listening to what your partner is going to respond to you, so that now you can fully understand and move forward into getting to the place where we can give each other exactly what it is that we need. And if it's not exactly what they need, we're going to get closer to that, because we're going to move into steps about getting to that space. I think I just saw the mosquito that's in here biting. I don't like mosquitoes. They drive me up a wall. So anyways, so asking that question, But it's important when we ask that question that we're asking that question from the place that we're really ready. And all of these things that we've done up until this point have brought us to this place to be really ready to hear what it is that your partner is saying to you, not to judge it. We left judgment outside the door a long time ago, not to justify it, because when they're asking for what they need, they're asking for what they need. What do they need?
Right. They're not asking for permission.
Right. So they're not going to justify that need to you. They're going to ask for it. And it's really important when we do this that we do this from a place of, okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this. It's like, okay, so I'm really feeling into it. What do I need? What do I need right now? And speaking that. And your partner needs to be in the place where they're receiving that need from you. And it's like, and if that need right now is not attainable, what is attainable at this point? For us, it's been intimacy. What I need is intimacy. I need to be touched. I need to be loved. I need to feel important. I need to feel that my desires uh, are good, and that I am worth enough to put the time and the effort in to make that happen. Um, and if that's not possible, then we need to start coming to a place where we make that possible, you know, and being able to move in it in a way that is comfortable for both. Because maybe my desires are like too big, you know, for Sonia to handle at this point in time. That's okay. Let that be okay. If you're working on trust and your partner is asked, I just need to know what are you going to do that lets me know that I can trust you again? Work towards that, bring that to the table, and let them know like what you're going to do. How will they know that that it's okay for them to let their guard down and to trust you? You know, we have to be able to really hear what is being asked and that in that moment, so that we can move forward.
Exactly.
Sonia's
Yeah.
like very intently listening.
Yeah. No, like to answer your question at this point for us, because we're always, vulnerable and using ourselves as the example, because that's all we can talk to, really. I don't know anyone else's situation, but I do know ours. And yeah, the intimacy has been lacking for some time. And the question now have uh, being that we've gone through being honest with each other and exposing our fears and really listening. So the question is now, and you've already expressed what the answer to your question is. And for me, it's to be committed and to hold each other accountable instead of just talking about it. Yeah, it's going to happen tonight, and then it's like we go off to different directions. The intention's there, but then it's not, and then we're like, taking curves and detours and whatever. So we're not, and we're allowing each other to take those detours. So we're not being accountable. And I can speak for me, but not being like 100% committed to all the needs that you just explained, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I need the same stuff too. So, and we all need that. We all want to be desired and loved and touched and um, attended to, of
Mhm.
course, right? So make it happen.
Right. And so, and in all full disclosure, last night, I we were sitting, we were watching a program together, and I turned to Sonia. I could see that she was tired, but
Is it because I was dozing?
no, this was before you dozed off.
Oh,
But I turned to Sonia and I said, I want you to know that I'm fully present right now. So if watching TV is not what you want to do, I'm open to anything else that you would like to do, which let her know that I was not being closed off to her. I just wanted her to know that I was present for her in that moment. That was important for me to do, not just for her, but also for myself, because it was a way for me to say, I'm holding myself accountable and I'm holding you accountable too. So what I need for you to do in this moment is to ask for what you need, want, or desire. What she needed was sleep. Um, so, and I was prepared for anything at that point. I was prepared for, yes, I'd like to be intimate, and I was prepared for it to only go as far as she was comfortable. So I had prepared myself in advance, knowing that I was holding myself to a space of accountability, and I was holding the space opened for wherever Sonia wanted to meet me at.
right. And hear me when I say this. This in itself is a big step, because it can easily just be nothing, like that elephant in the room and no one's talking, right? So yeah, I appreciate that you said, hey, okay, we went out and we did this and we're home, and it's like sometimes it's like you sit down and it's like it's over because you're tired, right? But still, the fact that you said, hey, it's the light is still green, so then it does two things. It's like the pressure's off both of us because it's out there now. It's been exposed. Now it's in your court, my court. What are we gonna do? Right? So it's there. It's lingering. It's not just being masked. It's out in the open. So that is a big step right there.
Right. And here's the thing about taking this one step. It's scary to take this step because I needed to prepare myself for whatever the answer was. And so as I was sitting there and I knew that I wanted to say this, I was preparing myself for I know Sonia, she sat down for more than 5 minutes. So this is where it is. That's not always the case, so I couldn't make an assumption on that, because there have been many times in our relationship where I thought it was going to be a no, and it turned into a yes. So I didn't make an assumption, but I prepared myself either way, because in the past, a no, I take it as, oh, well, I'm not worth your time or your effort. And maybe that's not the case. If I keep presenting this way and it keeps being no, then I'm going to come back with something different. It's like I'm letting you know this, but I definitely have some needs that need to be addressed. So I need to again go back and have the conversation. I need to be honest about it. I need to let my fears go. I need to not make assumptions about what it is that's happening there. Maybe it's just, she needs the time to process this. I don't know. I'm not Sonia, so I needed to prepare myself for whatever the response was. And then, let that be whatever the answer is. And if it keeps going that way, then go back and do the same things over again, because it's a process. It's like when you're reestablishing a connection, maybe it's not going to happen like overnight. Maybe it's not going to be that spark that you want it to be the very first time. or maybe it's going to happen and then it's going to be a long while before that ignition happens again. Keep the conversation going. Keep being honest. Keep reaching out. Keep being present and listening, and then conveying what it is that you need. Because in a relationship, and Sonia said this beautifully when we were talking about the listening, in a relationship, it's about both people in the relationship. It's not just about my needs, and it's not just about her needs. There are needs that happen together. And that's what we're bridging here, is those needs that happen between the two of us.
Nicely said.
Well, thank you. So, I don't know. Do you feel like there's anything more that needs to be said? This might be the shortest episode we've ever done.
I think you're right.
Giving space,
Giving
Giving
space to
space.
process and
giving time.
and asking for what you want. Do you think that asking for what you want is like you have to have a cap on that, or it can just be like so much?
Explain that to me.
Like asking for what you want, is there a limit? Actually, is what I'm asking.
Do you limit your wants?
I try not to.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on a lot of there's a lot of variables. You know, there's certain things that I want materialistically. I don't know where I'm going with all of this,
okay.
but what I'm saying is, and I'm trying to back this from my experience, is it possible to think that asking for what you want doesn't have to be limited?
I don't think it has to be limited. They're your wants. Now, whether they all get met is up to you. You know, not you personally. It's up to me to make sure that my wants and needs get met.
Mhm.
And so, you know, do I need to limit myself and come to you and tell you, I just want to kiss? But when in fact it's like I want way more than just kissing, right?
Right.
Is that it so am I dimming myself down so that you can meet that request? Because, you know, kissing it's easy, you know. I'm not being specific about the kind of kiss I'm asking for or how long I'm asking for it.
No, that's not what I wasn't saying limiting like time. Okay, we've kissed
No, I
already.
know.
Okay, it's this.
But
I'm
what
talking
I'm
about
s-
not the act itself, you know, because that process can be whatever it is that when you're in that act, there's like no control.
right,
It goes as far as it needs to go and however.
right.
I'm just saying, just
in general.
just in general, like things that you want, you know, because I can imagine in my head, like just looking at couple therapy, different programs and stuff, and you'll always hear one person say, "It's like you want too much." No,
I've heard that said to
that's
me.
like, so what does that even mean? You want too much? And then in couples therapy, it's that person is actually uh, dealing with that question, but it's like mirroring back to that person. It's like, is that person really asking too much, or is it you not willing to give that much?
Right.
So that's something to consider too, and we've done that.
I think that's something to consider.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done that. Right here recently. So
Right.
I guess that's what I was thinking in my head. So are you asking too much?
Am I too
for
much?
asking for too much? No.
I know I'm not. Because
No.
I'm worth having all of that and even more than that.
Right.
You
I
know?
agree.
And it's taken me a long time to get to that place to where it's like, no, it's not too much. I'm not too much. It's not too much work. It's not too much effort. No. So my answer for myself is, am I asking for too much? No, I'm not. I'm asking for exactly what it is that I want or need or desire to have.
Mhm.
Now, whether I get all of those things is another thing. But here's the important thing here. So it's a good thing that we didn't close, because I would have missed this point. And that is that the other person can acknowledge this for you. I hear that you're asking for passion, and that you're asking for desire and pleasure and all of these things, and the way that you're asking for them. I can't give those things all to you right now, but this is what I can give you, or just acknowledging them for what they asked for. And this was an exercise that we saw done really beautifully in what is the name of that? They were on Goop. That energy.
Anyway, what did they do?
So it's like you're gonna ask for what you want,
Mhm.
and the other person is gonna just acknowledge it. Now, whether that happens or not,
Right. Okay.
Is not the point. It's the fact that you asked for what you want. And that's a new series that we're gonna, or a new mini thing that we're gonna move into next time, is asking for what you want. But in this situation, especially in bridging the gap, it's important that when we make we're asking for exactly what it is that we need.
So you're saying, or I'm thinking, like it doesn't have to be that overwhelming, right? You have like a list of things that you need. And I'm not going to say that I don't desire and want and need all the same things. I do. But it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So you're saying, like, start with just touch, start
Right.
with having a conversation, start with being in the same room longer than 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Start with
Start with acknowledging.
start
Yeah.
with kissing, start with just snuggling, or at least embracing,
Right.
you know?
Right. Because the if you're in a place of overwhelm because of what my desires are, then you have to say that. You have to let me know that. It's like, okay, that's you. I don't need to take that on for myself.
Right.
And then that's important too. It's like, remember, Sonia is in charge of her feelings, how she feels in that moment. Your person is in charge of how they're feeling. You're not responsible. I'm I I'm so in touch with this now, more so than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm in touch with the fact that what I need, what I desire, what I want, it's not too much. I'm not too much. I'm not too much work. I'm not any of these things. I'm not. Those are my feelings. Now, how you feel about it, those are your feelings. It's like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of mood setting. It sounds like a lot of, whatever it is for you. And that's okay. Those are your feelings and you have to deal with them. I'm not taking that on. I'm not taking Sonia's words to mean I'm too much, because I'm not. I am not. And I'm going to continue to say this for myself, because I'm not. And what I'm actually doing for me is I'm reminding myself I'm taking responsibility for my own needs, and I'm letting Sonia know what they are now. And if she can't handle those, then that's on her. She needs to come to her own place where she can say, okay, well, for me, that's too much, but this is what I can do. This is what I'm committed to doing. This is what I'm going to bring to it. You know, it's a give and take situation. We have to be fully transparent with who we are, what we expect, and what we will receive. Because if I don't know, if Sonia's sitting over there and she's like, oh, well, that's like way too much. I can't do that. But she doesn't verbalize that. Guess what I'm taking in? I'm taking in, I'm not worth it. I'm not important. I'm too much. And I don't want those things. That belongs somewhere else. That does not belong to me. And that's extremely important in this situation to be able to do that. So wherever you are in your relationship, remember, we're owning our own feelings, we're owning our own responsibility, we're being honest, we're letting go of our fears, we're hearing what the other person is saying, and we're still asking for what we want in the situation, because our wants are important. What I need, what I want is important. What Sonia needs and Sonia wants is important. Now, how we get there is going to take more time to bridge that between the two of us. It's like, well, I want all of those things too, but it's just that's too much right now. I I'm not present for that. Okay, well, then you ask the question,
What are you present for?
What are you present for?
Yeah. What can you give me right now?
Right. So that you know that you've been heard. You know that they hear everything that you want, and that they're they're going to move in the direction that is comfortable for them. No, because if trust has been broken, it takes time to build it. If you've been disconnected intimately for a long time, it takes time to bring that back.
Yeah, a thought just came to me. You just said, when if trust has been broken, it takes time. And just instead of that, what came to mind was, if trust has been broken, it takes actions to fix it.
Ooh,
Right?
yes.
Because time, what does time have to do with it?
Right. Yeah.
Right? It takes actions.
So and that could be used in anything. So
Right.
if your communication is broken,
Takes action.
it takes
right?
action. It takes being honest. That's an action. It takes letting go of your fears, another action. It takes listening, another
That's an
action. It takes speaking up for what you need. That's another action.
Yeah, being committed. It's an action and accountability. So actions, like you say, your biggest thing is always, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
Right. And yeah, I don't know. So that was just a thought that
No, I love
came
it.
through. It's like,
Yeah, I love it.
because we always put so much thought into time. Time will heal. Time will, I don't know, time. Do we really have that much time?
Right,
We don't know what our time is.
Right, but then here's the other part of that. It's like we can say anything that we want to, and we can, dance around the whole time issue. But what you said about action, being in action, brings things back together again. So when we're in action, we're letting the other person know, I hear you, I see you, and this is how I'm going to move towards that. I think action is I think you said something there. Action heals.
Oh, if you're gonna build or fill the gap to a bridge, that's action. I'm thinking in my head, because I'm like mechanical up there. I'm looking at a crew, with boards and nails and screws and laying down cement and rib bar, it's action.
Right.
So noted.
So step into action in your relationship. Put aside all of the things that you think you know in your relationship and start coming to it from the place of what you want instead. What you want, and then how are the two of you going to get into action? Because I love that.
Mhm.
How are you going to get into action to get to that place so that both are walking across that bridge so that you can meet in the middle and go in the direction that you both want to go in? Because there's two in this relationship. Sometimes there's even more than just two in that relationship. So how are you going to bridge it for those people that you're doing life with? What
Exactly.
action are you going to take?
Right. What is the first action step that you can possibly take for whatever situation that's present in your relationship right now?
I feel like,
and I'm thinking about it right now.
Right.
And so my action step today is going to be very intentional, very purposeful. And that's to like hug you all day.
aw,
I'll start
I,
now.
I
I'll start
like
now.
hugs. I have an action step for you, not you.
Oh, I was like, oops.
I have an action for our listeners. Sometimes the best thing that we can do for our relationship is to get support. We all need support. Sonia brought this up. If we had somebody like us doing a podcast and bringing all of this information from their relationship and freely bringing it to their listeners, we probably would have reached out and said,
Yeah.
hey, we're having some issues.
Yeah, I could totally relate to that one right there.
Right.
Sonia.
And we could use some support. So we have something special that we're going to put in the bottom for you. So be looking for it. It's going to be in the show description. It's going to be in the YouTube
You'll know when you see it
subscription,
because it'll pop out.
right? So but it will be a way for you to get into action in your relationship and get the support that you need. So get into conversation with us and let us know how we can support you to bridge the gap in your relationship, and be looking for that special something that we're going to be dropping at the end of this particular episode.
So that's an action step for you.
Exactly.
Look for that link,
right?
Or that information.
Exactly. So I'm good. Are you good?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm going to
Another
take
hug.
a note. I like hugs. Hugs.
Okay.
And Sonia's a really good hugger. So anyways, have an incredible day. Step into intentionality in your relationship. Be present and hear what is going on. Because when you have all of that information, you're building that bridge to end the issue that is going on. And we all have them. So,
Yeah. So with that, take that first action step.
good. Bye for now.
Bye for now. We're curious. What are your top 3 non-negotiables that are a must for your relationship? For us, it's love, safety, and belonging. With that being said, what conversations will you start having to learn more about your relationship?
For more information, check out our website, soniaandcarolyn.com. Our social media links are listed there for you. Let us know what inspired you in this episode. Until our next conversation, keep exploring your relationship.